Hey, this is Alex with AFS 401k. It's episode number 53 of Money Hacks. I'm here with Clarice, Avery from Natixis. Thanks so much for joining us. You're here to talk about ESG. What is that?
Yes, thanks for having me. So first of all, ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance Investing. So it's any type of investment approach that considers those types of factors in the decision-making process. So on the environmental side, you would think about things like how a company is prepared for climate change or how they're adapting for that. What's their water and waste management processes. On the social side, it's things like how they treat their employees, how they deal with suppliers and customers in the local community. On the governance side, it's things like how is the management of the company set up? Is management diverse? How are they compensated? Things like that. What we're finding is that those types of factors, in addition to financial considerations, actually really matter in terms of investment performance.
If I'm an investor, that should matter to me.
Yes, from our perspective, we think companies that do well on those things, or maybe even create solutions, their products are solutions for challenges like climate change, might actually outperform over time, and that's what we've seen.
And I've heard from a number of the employees that we get to serve that they have an interest, and we all have an interest in investing in companies that are creating social impact, that are creating a more sustainable future. So if I'm an investor, how do I find information about ESG investing, or whether the funds I'm already investing in actually meet some of these criteria?
That's a good question. You can certainly start by looking at what you're invested in, what the options are in your 401k plan. It might be difficult to determine whether those are ESG options or if those managers incorporate it, so you can start by asking your employer. And then outside of that, you can do your own kind of research. A quick Google search for ESG or sustainable investing will get you a lot of good content. You can go to websites like ESG101.com, which is a website that MSCI has created. They put all their sort of educational resources there. And then you can go to websites like ours, where we're an investment manager, but we really care about this topic, and we're creating a lot of articles and things on the topic, so you can find those there as well.
And I think the one concern or retort that I've heard in the past, and you can tell me if it's true or not, is that if you invest in these types of investments like ESG, or what was formerly known as SRI investments, they're not going to have as much of a track record, so you can't really know if they're good investment options, or they just won't perform as well as other what I'll call non-ESG investment options. Is that still true?
I think it's getting better. There are more and more options available, really good options too, I'd say. And obviously, as time passes, those track records get longer and longer, and you can look back and see how they've performed relative to their benchmarks and relative to kind of the non-ESG options. We've looked at actually the average performance of a peer group within Morningstar of world large stock mutual funds. We look at the ESG labeled funds and the non-ESG labeled funds. And we find that those ESG labeled funds actually outperform on average over most time periods compared to the traditional ones. So we're seeing that more and more there's good options available, and they're actually performing well.
So in short, this is certainly a growing trend that's here to stay in the investment marketplace, and all of us as investors should take some time to learn more and educate ourselves around ESG and whether we're investing in these types of companies today, and if not, what might be a right opportunity for us.
Yeah, I'd say it's a great way to align your investments with your values while still meeting your financial objectives.
There it is. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks
Anything else?
ESG. That was not prepared for that one.